There is a moment every morning that many of us rush past, the page before. Unaware that the doors of the heavens are wide open, that mercy is descending, and that Allah is closer to us than we can imagine. After Fajr, the page before. When the world is still quiet and distractions have not yet claimed our hearts, Allah gives us a sacred invitation, an invitation to speak, to ask, to hope, and to return. What the page before? This is not just another time of the day, this is a moment of transformation. The page before, a moment where one sincere dua can reshape your heart, redirect your life. The page before, and change everything you thought was impossible. Many of us make dua out of habit, but few of us make dua with presence. We ask Allah, yet our hearts are wandering. We raise our hands, yet we doubt the response. And then we wonder why we feel distant, why our lives feel heavy and feel unanswered. The truth is, Allah is always listening. The page before. But He wants us to come to Him in the way He loves, at the time He has honored. The page before, with hearts that are awake. Today is not about learning words to repeat. Today is about learning how to stand before Allah after Fajr with humility, certainty, and trust. The page before. It is about understanding how one dua, said with sincerity in that blessed time, can shift your soul. The page before. Soften your heart and open doors you never imagined would open. If you truly grasp this moment, if you truly hold onto it consistently, your life will never be the same. The page before, not because your problems disappear, but because your connection with Allah transforms everything. The page before. After Fajr, before you rush to your phone, before the noise of the day enters your heart, pause. Sit with Allah. Let your soul settle. Because the first step is not the dua itself, it is awareness. Standing before Al-Hayy, the ever living. The one who never sleeps while the world sleeps. When your heart recognizes who you are speaking to. The page before, your words change, your tone softens, and your tears become more honest. The page before. Then come to Allah with a heart that has been cleaned, even if only a little. Seek forgiveness. Not because you are perfect, but because you are sincere. Say astaghfirullah slowly, consciously. HAIFA. Knowing that Allah loves the servant who returns again and again. A heart weighed down by sin struggles to feel closeness. A heart washed with repentance feels light enough to hope again. And when you ask, the page before, ask with certainty. Not with fear that you will be ignored, not with hesitation. Page before, but with full trust that Allah hears you before the words leave your lips. Chose. Do not make dua as if you are begging a door that may or may not open. Make dua, knowing you are speaking to the one who already knows what you need. What did He chosen? The page before, the one who loves to give, the one who is more merciful to you than you are to yourself. Speak to Allah honestly. Do not decorate your pain. Do not pretend strength when you feel broken. Allah does not need polished words. He wants truthful hearts. Tell Him what hurts. Tell Him What scares you? Tell him what you hope for, even if it feels impossible. The page before. The dua that changes lives is the one where the heart finally stops hiding. Then align your dua with gratitude. Even before the answer comes, thank Allah. The page before. Thank Him for allowing you to pray Fajr. Thank Him for letting you sit in His presence. The page before. Gratitude before the response is a sign of deep faith. What did He say? And Allah increases those who are grateful in ways they never expected. And finally, remain consistent. Not intense for one morning and absent for weeks, but loyal. Page before. Even when you feel nothing, even when the answer is delayed. Because Allah is not testing your words. He is nurturing your heart. The change does not always come suddenly, but quietly, steadily. What did He say? The page before. Until one day you are no longer the same person who first raised their hands after Fajr. The page before. This is why we say this dua after Fajr, and your life will never be the same. The page before. Not because your life becomes perfect, but because your heart becomes anchored to Allah. The page before. And when the heart is connected, everything else finds its place. And understand this deeply. The page before. The mornings after Fajr are not given to you by accident. The page before. Allah chose to wake you while others remained asleep. Page 4. He chose to call you by name when the adhan was made. That alone is a sign of love. So do not treat that moment lightly. Sit with it. Protect it. The page before. Because when Allah gives you access to Him at that hour, preparing you for something greater than you can see. Soon. Many people say, I make dua. The page before, but nothing changes. Yet, they forget that the first change always happens inside. The page before. Allah reshapes your patience before He changes your circumstances. He strengthens your trust before He opens the door. And sometimes, the page before. The greatest answer to your dua is not what you receive, but who you become while waiting. He say, after Fajr, when your heart is soft and your mind is clear, Allah begins that transformation gently, quietly, without noise. Do not rush your dua. Let silence exist between your words. Allow your heart to feel. Tears that fall after Fajr are not weakness, but language. Allah understands perfectly. When you cry before Him with no audience but the angels, those tears are never wasted. They are stored, honored, and responded to in ways beyond your imagination. And be careful not to limit Allah in your asking. Do not say, this is too much to ask. There is nothing too big for Al-Qadir. The problem is never the size of your dua. It is the size of your certainty. Ask for healing. The page before. Even if the pain has lasted years, ask for guidance, even if you feel lost. Ask for ease. The page before. Even if your situation feels impossible, Allah is not restricted by your past, your mistakes, or your timeline. When you make that dua after Fajr, align your heart with obedience. A dua is not meant to replace effort, it is meant to guide it. Ask Allah to help you walk toward Him. When your actions begin to reflect your does, then The doors open faster than love's when his servant asks and then tries. And remember, sometimes Allah delays the answer because He loves hearing your voice. He loves seeing you return every morning, hands raised, heart hopeful. That consistency is beloved to Him. The page before. Do not abandon your dua just because the answer did not arrive on your schedule. Allah's timing is never late. It is precise, intentional, and always rooted in mercy. After Fajr, you are closest to sincerity. The ego is quiet. The world has not yet distracted you. Page before. This is the time to realign your intentions. Ask Allah to purify your heart, to remove resentment. HAIFA. The page before. Ask Him to make you content with what He has written while still hopeful for what is to come. The page before. This balance is the secret of inner peace. And as the days pass, something subtle begins to happen. You trust more. You panic less. The chaos around you may still exist, but it no longer controls you. That is the power of a consistent dua after Fajr. Allah anchors your heart so firmly that storms lose their strength. The page before. Never underestimate a quiet morning with Allah. Nations rise and fall by decisions made in silence. Hearts are healed in moments unseen by the world. And your life, your direction, the page before. Your destiny can be altered by a single sincere dua whispered after Fajr. So tomorrow morning, when you finish your prayer, do not stand up immediately. Stay. Raise your hands. The page before. Speak to Allah like you have nowhere else to go, because truly you don't. The page before. And if you remain loyal to that moment, if you guard it, honor it, and return to it day after day, before you look back one day and realize that everything changed, not when your problems disappeared, the page before, but when Allah became enough for your heart. What is this then? And you will understand the meaning of saying this dua after Fajr. The page before, and why your life will never be the same. And let this truth settle gently into your heart. The page before. Allah does not ask you to be extraordinary to answer you. He asks you to be sincere. The page before. The power of that dua after Fajr is not in perfection, but in persistence. Mariz. It is in showing up even on the mornings when your heart feels heavy, when your Iman feels low, especially then, because Allah's mercy is not earned by worthiness. It is accessed by humility. Some mornings, your dua will feel strong. Other mornings, your words will feel empty. Do not let that stop you. The servant who continues to turn to Allah even when they feel disconnected is more beloved than the one who only turns to Him when they feel inspired. The page before. Consistency through dryness is a sign of true faith. Allah sees the effort even when you feel nothing. And know this when you sit after Fajr. Angels are witnessing you. The earth beneath you bears witness. The heavens open in ways we cannot comprehend. You are not alone in that moment if the room is silent. Allah is closer than your breath, responding in ways unseen. The page before. Arranging matters you have not yet imagined. Be careful of impatience. The page before. Impatience is not just in words, it is in the heart that gives up quietly. When you say, the page before, I've been making this dua for so long, remember that every time you made it, it was an act of worship, even if the outcome has not arrived yet. The reward is already being written. No sincere dua is ever lost. It is either answered immediately, the page before, delayed for something better, or saved for a day when you will need it the most. And sometimes, the page before, Allah answers your dua by protecting you from what you asked for. The page before. This is one of the hardest truths to accept, but one of the most beautiful. You may not understand it now, the page before, but one day you will look back and thank Allah for the doors He kept closed. The page before. Trust is not understanding the plan. Trust is believing in the planner. Let your dua after Fajr also be a conversation, not a transaction. Do not approach Allah only with requests. Speak to Him about your gratitude, your confusion, your fears, your hopes. Tell Him about your day before it even begins. The page before. Ask Him to walk with you through it. When Allah becomes part of your morning, page before, He becomes part of everything. And watch how your character begins to change. You become softer with people, more patient with tests, more forgiving of mistakes. The page before. Dua reshapes the heart before it reshapes reality. This inner shift is often the greatest miracle. What did he say? The page before. But many people overlook it because they are waiting for something visible. The page before. If you ever feel your heart growing distant, return to that moment after Fajr. That is your anchor. That is your reset. That is where Allah reminds you who you are and who He is. The page before. Life may pull you in many directions, but that morning connection realigns you again and again. The page before. And do not underestimate the impact of teaching this habit to others. When you share this reminder, the page before, when you encourage someone to sit with Allah after Fajr, you are not just offering advice. You are opening a door of mercy for them. And every time they raise their hands, you share in the reward. So protect this practice fiercely. Guard it like a treasure. The page before. Do not trade it for sleep that does not satisfy or distractions that do not last. What did he before? What Allah gives you in those quiet moments is far greater than what the world offers loudly. And one day, perhaps without realizing when it happened, you will wake up and notice that your heart feels different, lighter, stronger, more at peace. The page before. Your problems may still exist, but they no longer define you. Your fears may still whisper. Page before. But they no longer control you, because your heart has learned to go every morning straight to Allah. And that is the secret. This is why we say this dua after Fajr. Consistently. Trust Him completely. And your life will never be the same. The page before. Not because everything around you changes, but because everything within you does. And remember, the page before. Allah is not distant from your struggle. He is not unaware of the weight you carry silently. Every unspoken fear, every private worry, every tear you hide from people is known to Him. The page before. After Fajr, when the world has not yet demanded anything from you. The page before. Allah allows you to place that weight down. Not because your burden is small. He is greater than it. Or the page before. Do not underestimate how Allah elevates a servant who begins their day by relying on Him. The page before. When you hand your affairs to Allah in the morning, He manages what you cannot control. The page before. He places calm where there was anxiety. He places clarity where there was confusion. And even if your circumstances remain unchanged, you walk through them with a heart that is supported by divine strength. Sometimes, the dua you make of to Fajr is not answered in the way you expect because Allah is teaching you something more valuable than relief. He is teaching you reliance. He is teaching you patience, how to remain connected, even when the outcome is unclear. This connection is what sustains faith long-term, not instant results. And do not think that Allah delays out of neglect. Allah delays out of wisdom. He sees what you cannot see. He knows which answer will draw you closer and which will pull you away. So, trust Him enough to accept both the yes and the wait. Before. Trust Him enough to believe that His silence is not absence, but preparation. After Fajr, the page before. Make dua not only for yourself, but for others. There is immense power in a selfless heart. Pray for those who hurt you. Pray for those who are struggling silently. Pray for the Ummah. A heart that expands in concern for others is a heart Allah fills with light. And often, the page before, when you pray for someone else, Allah sends angels who say, and for you the same. The page before. As you continue this practice, you will notice that your mornings become sacred. He say, the page before. You will miss it when you rush past it. The page before. Because your soul recognizes nourishment when it feels it. Just as the body weakens without food. The page before, the heart weakens without connection. Dua after Fajr is nourishment for the soul. The page before. And let your trust in Allah show in your actions throughout the day. Walk with confidence, with hope, not fear. When challenges arise, the page before, remind yourself that you already placed this day in Allah's hands. When plans fall apart, remind yourself that Allah's plan never does. This remembrance transforms how you respond to life. There will be days when your dua feels heavy and your heart feels tired. No, do not give up on those days. Those are the days when Allah is refining you the most. Why? Gold is purified under pressure, and hearts are strengthened through perseverance. The page before. Stay loyal to Allah in hardship, and He will be loyal to you in ways you never imagined. And one final truth, the page before. The greatest gift, who makes sincere ziyah, is the one who makes sincere afia, is not what they ask for, but closeness to Him. When Allah becomes your priority, what did He say? The page before, everything else falls into its rightful place. Your goals become clearer. Your fears become smaller. So go continue. Return every morning. The page before. Speak to Allah before you speak to the world. Anchor your heart in Him before the day tests you. Page before. And know with certainty that every moment you spend after Fajr in dua is shaping your life. The page before. Your character and your akira. This is not a habit. This is a relationship. The page before. And when that relationship is nurtured daily, especially in the quiet hours of the morning, your life does not just change, it transforms in ways only Allah could design. The page before. And let me leave you with this final reflection, one that I want you to carry with you beyond today. The goal of that dua after Fajr is not only to ask Allah to change your situation, the page before, but to allow Allah to change you. When the heart is aligned with Allah, every situation, ease or hardship, becomes meaningful, purposeful, and filled with wisdom. The page before. Some of you are waiting for a sign before you fully commit to Allah. Out. What if you are the one being invited to become the sign? The page before. What if Allah is shaping you through these mornings so that you can carry light into places that feel dark? The page before. Patience into moments that feel unbearable, and hope into hearts that feel lost, including your own. The page before. Do not underestimate the ripple effect of your private worship. The page before. What you do in secret after Fajr affects your public life more than you realize. The page before. It affects how you speak, how you love, how you forgive, how you endure. The page before. When Allah sees you choosing Him in silence, He places honor for you in places you never asked for. And know this, Allah is never far. We are the ones who drift. The page before. Every time you return to Him after Fajr, you shorten the distance. Every time you raise your hands, the page before, you remind your soul where it belongs. Every time you whisper your fears to Allah, the page before, you release a weight that was never meant to be carried alone. If you ever fall, return. If you ever forget, return. If you ever feel unworthy, return. Allah does not tire of forgiving, the page before, and He does not grow weary of listening. The only loss is when the servant stops coming back. So make a promise to yourself today, not a promise of perfection, but a promise of return. The page before. Promise that no matter how busy life becomes, no matter how heavy your heart feels, you will guard that moment after Fajr. That you will sit, even briefly, the page before, and speak to Allah with honesty and trust, because when you meet Allah every morning, the page before, He meets you with mercy every step of the way. When you anchor your day in His remembrance, the page before, the storms lose their power. And when your heart learns to rely on Him completely, fear no longer defines you. This is the secret so many are searching for and so few protect. As a quiet meeting, a sincere dua, a heart that refuses to disconnect from its Creator. So tomorrow morning, and every morning after that, say that dua after Fajr. Say it with certainty. Say it with hope. Say it knowing that Allah hears you, sees you. The page before, and loves you more than you can imagine. And when you do, your life will never be the same. And if tonight you forget everything else that was said, remember this one thing. Allah is inviting you personally every single morning. The call to Fajr is not just a call to prayer, it is a call to closeness, a call to begin again, to patiently, to place your heart where it was always meant to rest. The page before. When you answer that call and remain seated after the prayer, what did he say? Before. You are choosing Allah over the rush of the world, and Allah never lets that choice go unseen. The page before. There will be days when your faith feels strong and days when it feels fragile. The page before. Both days are welcome after Fajr. Come with strength, come with weakness, come with questions. The page before. Come with gratitude, just come. Allah does not ask for a certain emotional state. He asks for presence. And presence alone is enough for mercy to descend. Do not wait until your life is in order to turn to Allah. The page before. Turn to Allah so that your life can be put in order. The page before. Many hearts are exhausted not because they carry too much responsibility, the page before, but because they carry it without Allah, the page before. That morning dua is where you hand your burdens back to the one who was always meant to carry them. And know that sometimes Allah changes your life by removing things, not adding them. A habit, a relationship, a path you thought you needed, the page before. Trust that when Allah takes something away, after you have asked Him sincerely, page before, He is making space for what is better. Even when it hurts, even when you do not understand, let your dua after Fajr include surrender. Say, why Allah? The page before. I trust you even when I do not see the wisdom. This level of trust frees the heart from constant worry. What did he say? The page before. It teaches the soul to breathe again. It reminds you that you were never meant to control everything. The page before. Learn to rely on the one who does. As you walk through your days, the page before. Let people see the turkey of your mornings. Let your calm be louder than your words. The page before. Let your patience speak for your faith. Let your reliance on Allah be evident in how you respond, not just in what you say. This is how dua becomes lived, not just spoken. And when you stumble. What the page before? Because you will do not let guilt push you away from Allah. Let it pull you back. Shaitan to believe that distance is the answer to failure. What did he say? The page before. But Allah teaches us that return is the response to weakness. Every return after Fajr is a victory, even if it follows a fall. One day, perhaps years from now. What did he say? The page before. You will look back at this season of your life and realize that what sustained you was not your strength. What did he say? Or your planning. It was those quiet mornings. Those whispered duas. Those moments when you chose Allah before the world chose you. So continue. Even when no one sees. When no one applauds, even when the results are not immediate. Because Allah sees, Allah records, Allah responds. Make that moment after Fajr your lifeline, your refuge. The page before, your source of truth in a world full of noise. And if you remain faithful to that moment, the page before, Allah will be faithful to you in ways that will leave you in awe. Say the dua. Trust the process. Ilzam, and know with complete certainty the page before. A heart that meets Allah every morning is a heart that will never be abandoned. And so we end where everything truly begins, with Allah. If there is one gift you take with you today, let it be this habit. Not a slogan, not a feeling, a commitment. A quiet promise between you and your Lord that no matter what life brings, you will return to Him after Fajr, even for a moment, even with trembling words, even with a tired heart. Because Allah does not need long speeches from you. He needs sincerity, the page before. He needs your presence. He needs your trust. When you choose Allah in the stillness of the morning, what did He say? The page before, He chooses you in the noise of the world. When you place your worries in His hands at dawn, the page before, He carries you through the day with mercy. And when you build your life around that one sincere dua after Fajr, a strength no hardship can break, so rise tomorrow with intention. Pray. Sit. Raise your hands. Speak to Allah like He is your only refuge, because truly He is. The page before, and walk away knowing this with certainty in your heart. You are seen. You are heard. Say the dua. After Fajr, trust Allah completely. And let your life be changed forever.